So apparently when it comes down to the Braxtons coming out with the season 2, production definitely put a pause on it due to all the sisters getting into it with Tamar. And for those who don't know, Tamar is not a friend of the show this season. She came on as like a main character or main cast member, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? But she decided to bring on Ashley. And for those who don't know, Ashley is their niece from their brother, Michael.
Y'all, not Trina exposing Tamar for getting their show canceled with her shenanigans, because the Braxton girlies are back at it again, and as usual, it's nothing less than pure chaos. It seems like the beef between Tamar and Trina has only gotten worse these past couple of months, and it is affecting their show. Word in the streets is that producers are skeptical about moving on with the show because the drama is just too chaotic. This is wild, y'all, because y'all know that producers want you to bring the drama, so what exactly did Tamar do? But the word on the curb is that Tamar was the one who exposed Trina's ex for allegedly being a creep and preying on younger women. And if there was one thing that we know about Trina, is that she does not play about her man. But that's not all, because Tamar is also claiming that Trina is trying to turn their sisters against her and alienate her from the rest of the family. So does this mean that Tamar is on the outs with the rest of her sisters? And why is nobody on her side? Let's break it down. Okay, so the rumors of beef between the sisters started going around a couple of days ago when reports claimed that Trina Braxton had walked off the set of taping the show. According to one report, sources reveal that Trina Braxton walked off the set of taping the upcoming season of The Braxtons. The Grammy Award winner is over the sister drama. Tony stated that when Tracy passed, they promised her they would get along, yet no one is getting along and things have actually gotten worse. So y'all, the source is making it seem like the issue had something to do with Tony, but it actually had everything to do with Tamar and Trina. There's also a little something that involved their other sister Tawanda, but it was mostly centered around Tamar and Trina. Now the chaos between the sisters has been going on for a minute now because last season was a crazy hot mess. Their latest series, The Braxton, has been airing for a while now, and the tension between the sisters was impossible to ignore. Sure, all the sisters had their fair share of the drama last season, but there's something about Tamar and Tawanda's interactions that feels off. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill sibling disagreements, because there's definitely a deeper issue at play. You'd expect them to be a bit more supportive this time around, especially with so much of the season centering on Tracy's heartbreaking passing in 2022. Losing a family member is never easy, especially a sister, and based on what's been shown, they're all still carrying that emotional weight of that loss. But to cope with everything, they've been attending therapy together, and the show featured them in a group grief counseling with a therapist named Spirit, where they tried to unpack their emotions. But even with these sessions, Tamar and Tawanda couldn't keep things calm. Tamar accused Tawanda of not putting in the effort to maintain their bond, while Tawanda stood firm, saying that she was simply prioritizing her own well-being by setting boundaries. They barely communicate these days, and if you ask Tamar, she's convinced that the only reason Tawanda even answers her calls or replies to her texts is because the cameras are rolling.
It's a matter of respect. I respect where people are. That's just Is that why? I respect where people are. I don't engage. I don't pour into certain types of energy. Mm-hmm. I make different choices in my life. Mm-hmm. And that's just where I am.
Now this is TV, John. outside of yesterday and today, when was the last time you talked to me?
I don't recall. It wasn't my birthday because you didn't call me.
Your birthday's September, here we are in March.
I am in a space. I am in a space of I'm just focusing on my relationship and whoever's in my household. I'm focusing on my children. I'm focusing on my relationship.
In your household? Tony's in your household?
They call me. I talk to them every day.
Girl, you don't answer the phone.
That's
Girl,
not true.
Stop.
Let's be specific. Did you call me yesterday?
I did.
Did I answer it?
Well, because we're taping now.
No. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Oh.
When you called me, every time
Girl,
you called,
that is not
every time you called, I answered. Every time you text, I answer. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
So I'm a liar.
No, you said that. I didn't call you that. That's the word that you're using.
Now, it's one thing to have tension behind closed doors, but when your issues are playing out for the world to see, it only heats up the drama. And fans have definitely picked up on the uncomfortable energy between them. And at this point, it's unclear whether they actually want to mend things or if they've come to terms at the state of their relationship. Either way, the situation is a lot, and something tells me that this mess isn't dying down anytime soon. Y'all remember last year when Tawanda hopped on live to address their relationship with Tamar and said this, right?
And I want to clear up some discrepancies, though. These people asking me, hey guys, hey, have you spoken to Tamar? You guys talking to Tamar? You talk to Tamar? Of course. As I stated before, whatever, regardless on what happens, if any of my sisters call me, I'm going to pick up the phone and answer. If they need me, if they text me, I'm going to respond. And that's just the bottom line. That's just what it is. However, I am sensitive to other people's boundaries, and I respect people's boundaries regardless on what it is. If I agree or not, I'm going to respect your boundaries. If you say you don't feel like it or you don't want to beg, you want to do this, guess what? I'm going to respect your boundaries by not crossing those lines. That's just it. And that's it. You know? If this person said, you act like you hard, you got a wall that makes it seem like you don't care. It's not that I don't care. It's not that. What it is that I have respectfully learned to compartmentalize the things that is more important. And it's not important for me to do anything other than to protect my peace. That's it. That's just it.
Well, y'all, the comment section was a disaster, with folks claiming Tawanda is just bitter about Tamar's success. Now, Tamar is built a solid career in music and reality TV and live television, and she's out here making money moves. And Tawanda, she's also doing her thing, but y'all already know how the internet works. People will always pick a side, and in this case, Tamar's fans were convinced that the only reason Tawanda went live and spoke on Tamar the way that she did was because she's secretly pressed about Tamar's success. But if there's one thing about Tawanda, she's not the type to let folks talk crazy about her without firing back. And trust me, when I say she dragged Tamar's fans, she dragged them.
Yeah, you're right. The show's supposed to do it because it's supposed to show real life family. We have a real life family, and real life family goes through real life situations. You're not going to get along all the time. You're not going to see eye to eye all the time, and everybody has their own journey. Period. That's just it. So if you come on here talking about, oh, Tawanda is jealous, she's so jealous. How can I be jealous of one sister and not jealous of Toni Braxton?
Yes, y'all. And when Tawanda got married a couple of days ago, Tamar was the only sister not invited to the wedding. And it was not an oversight. Yeah, last season was something of a hot mess, but when we thought that they had sorted out all their issues like grown, mature women, however, according to reports, the fight has been so messy that production has temporarily been paused. The report said producers shut down filming of the Braxtons after a heated argument between Tamar and her sisters. Season 2 is coming this summer. Well, given Tamar and Tawanda's mess last season, everybody thought that the fight was between them, but Trina soon stepped in and made it clear that she and Tamar were going through a tough time. She wrote, "To everyone who has distanced themselves from me, kindly stay there." So what exactly happened between the two women, and why is Trina so mad at Tamar? Well, the streets are saying that it all has to do with their niece, Ashley, exposing Trina's ex for being a creep. Well, Ashley claimed that she told Trina about her husband, Gabe Solis, being creepy, but Trina was one of those women who sided with her husband even though she knew what he did. Now, Gabe, may he rest in peace, was far from the ideal husband to Trina. He spent a good chunk of their 12-year marriage being unfaithful, and at one point she returned the favor. To say their relationship was toxic would be an understatement. That being said, they had one of the most messiest dynamics where no matter how bad things got, they always found their way back to each other. And of course, all of it unfolded on Braxton family values for the world to see. So it wasn't exactly shocking that Gabe had his eye on Ashley because he was known for having a wandering eye. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ashley Braxton is the daughter of Michael Braxton, the older brother of the famous Braxton sisters. She started gaining attention online after she shared a shocking story about one of her aunts allegedly siding with her husband to manipulate and alienate her from the family. The details of her account were disturbing, and the fact that it involved someone from the Braxton family only made the situation even more explosive. Ashley, who is now 32 years old, claims that all of this happened when she was just 16. According to her, she had gone to visit her aunt like any normal family member would, not suspecting that anything was off. But while she was there, her aunt's husband started behaving inappropriately towards her, making her uncomfortable with his actions. Then things escalated when he began sending her explicit messages, something no teenager should ever have to deal with, especially from a trusted family member. But eventually, Ashley returned home, shaken by the whole experience, but things didn't stay hidden for long. Her stepmother somehow came across the inappropriate messages and wasted no time in bringing them up to their father's attention. Understandably, Michael Braxton was deeply disturbed by what he saw and immediately reached out to his sister, Ashley's aunt, to address the situation. However, instead of handling things with concern and accountability, Ashley claims her aunt took her husband's side, turning the situation against her rather than protecting her as the family should. According to reports, Ashley went on to allege that her stepmother and father saw text messages between herself and her aunt's partner that were inappropriate. She says that at the time her aunt was loving and understanding and upset about what happened to Ashley, but that as time went on, it felt like her aunt switched to not feeling that way, and Ashley said that as she got older, she realized how weird it was that her aunt was okay with her partner given the circumstances. It just felt like love for my family was cut off and gone. She went on to say that her unnamed aunt thought she started it or that she was part of the problem to blame at the age of 16. Well, Ashley stated that through therapy, she learned how she dealt with the situation, but also that she should not be blamed because she should have never been put in that situation in the first place. She shared that she spoke with friends who've gone through similar situations and that she hates that they can bond over this. Ashley did not share which of her aunts this was. Well, the situation took place 16 years ago, which means if you break down the timeline of all the Braxton sisters that were married at that point, Trina was with Gabriel Solis, Tamar was married to Darrell Allenby, Tracy was with Kevin Surratt, Tawanda was with Andre Carter. So technically, any of them could be the aunt that Ashley was referring to, and since she was very intentional about not dropping any names, it was hard to know for sure who she was talking about, at least not with more details. But let's be real a second, for a millisecond, when has a lack of details ever stopped the internet from playing detective? As soon as Ashley's video started gaining traction, people started doing what they do best, digging. Fans and internet sleuths went straight into investigation mode, going through old interviews, show clips, and past relational drama, and looking for anything that might reveal who she's talking about. And honestly, given how much the Braxton family business has played out over on reality TV over the years, there was plenty of material to work with. The first major clue Ashley gave was that the man in question was allegedly doing something similar on television. Now, anyone who's been following the Braxtons for a while knows that their family has had no shortage of drama, both on and off the screen. However, certain individuals have more explosive and publicly messy relationships than others. And when fans lined up the timeline, one sister's marriage stood out more than the rest, Trina's. Now, at the time this alleged situation occurred, Trina was going through it with her then husband Gabe. Their marriage was nothing short of chaotic, and Gabe's reputation for infidelity was a major storyline on the Braxton family values. Viewers watched as he continuously violated her trust, including cheating on her multiple times and even having inappropriate conversations with other women online. The relationship was so toxic that Trina herself admitted to stepping out at one point as well, creating a cycle of dysfunction that played out in front of the world. So when Ashley mentioned that the man involved in her situation was behaving inappropriately on TV, fans immediately started side-eyeing Gabe. His history, paired with how publicly his actions were documented, made him a prime suspect in the minds of those trying to connect the dots. And let's not forget, he was known for having a wandering eye, which only fueled more speculation. However, Trina wasn't the only one who was married to a problematic man during that time. And if we're being real, most of the Braxton sisters have had their fair share of toxic relationships, whether it was dealing with infidelity, being the one stepping out, or just constant chaos and drama. Their love lives have been on a roller coaster, and if you look at the patterns, it's clear that the dysfunction has been running a theme in their family. And honestly, they probably got it from their mother, Evelyn. Let's not forget that Mama Braxton had her own messy drama-filled relationship with their father, Michael Braxton Sr. He repeatedly cheated on her, and she held onto that betrayal for years. The resentment ran so deep that even after they divorced, she was still calling him out and holding grudges, making it clear that she never truly forgave him for what he put her through. But if you've ever watched Braxton Family Values, you already know how Evelyn feels about infidelity. She has never minced her words about how much she despises cheating men. She spent years battling with Michael Sr. and confronting him and letting her anger fuel some of the most intense moments on the show. And let's be real, her bitterness over his cheating didn't just affect her, it trickled down into her daughter's view of relationships and how they handle their own situations. So when people say the apple don't fall too far from the tree, this is a prime example. The Braxton sisters grew up witnessing their mother's toxic relationship with their father, and in a lot of ways, history repeated itself in their own marriages. But fans finally did put two and two together and figured out that the aunt in question was, in fact, Trina. While Ashley didn't directly confirm it, though, she hinted very strongly at it. For example, a fan left a comment under her video that says, "Sounds like Trina and Gabe," and she gave context clues. She said the person was on TV and operating in the same spirit, and Ashley liked the comment. She also liked this comment that said, "I definitely know it was Trina and Gabe. Gabe tried to hook up with my then 17-year-old transgender cousin online, offered to fly her out to Atlanta and put her up in a hotel near the airport. Witnessed and recorded it all. Got blocked on SM for trying to let her know what he was doing." So yeah, it looks like Ashley was talking about Trina, and I know y'all clocked the tea about Trina trying to block people for trying to inform her of her husband's weird behavior. And the gag is that Tamar is the only sister that has Ashley's back. Given her history with being something of a chaotic sister, it's crazy to think that she would be the one to step up for Ashley, but here we are. Not only did she step up for Ashley, but there are also reports that Tamar wants Ashley on the show to talk about what happened, and Trina is not here for it. Like Ashley said, Trina was on her husband's side even though what he did was wrong. And the last thing she wants is for Trina to expose her as a weirdo on the show, which explains her fight with Tamar. And from the looks of things, the fight got so messy that it put their entire show in jeopardy. And the sisters hold Tamar 100% responsible for it, y'all. What a mess. For people who swore after Tracy's passing that they would be kinder to each other, they are not doing a good job of keeping that promise at all. This one is a hot mess, but I need to know what y'all think about the situation. And then check out this next video.